it's different. And would that have, survived today if that same situation happened today?
No, I don't think.
Them?
No, I don't think anybody would have cared. I think it would just be like, everybody's doing it now. Everybody knows that they're doing it now, right? Like, it's no surprise.
You look at these metal bands that have to cancel their show because they're having computer glitches for their backing tracks. It's like huge bands having these issues. It's like, can you not just play some of it?
Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 76. Tonight we're digging into the not-so-shocking story of late 80s R&B duo MILLI Vanilli.
Yes. Excellent topic. Excellent topic.
Yeah, I wonder who brought this one up and why. But I'm happy they did.
Oh, yeah. It's good. It's a good one. Before we get too deep, though, let's crank it right off here with what we're drinking, because I'm ready to crack one open here. So, Dane, why don't you fire it up there?
Are you sure you don't want to start?
Oh, sure, I'll go. Why don't I just do it, and then I'll just get out.
Yeah.
I'm doing a little bit more tree brewing, and I got kind of two winter ones, and it's the Wildland Winter Ale beer with vanilla flavor, 5%.
Ooh, vanilla.
Vanilli.
MILLI Vanilli, that's what I was thinking to go along with that. It is, yeah, that's the closest I could get. And in that kind of 4-pack, I'm going to give it a go. It's the Cranberry Orange Sour. And I don't drink very many sours, so I'm going to try it. It's a beer with cranberry and blood orange juice. And that is coming in at 5.4%. So
Nice.
I'm going to crack that and sit back and listen to what you guys got.
Okay.
Dane?
Go ahead, T.
Okay. I got two tonight. The first one is from Strathcona Brewing Co. It is a Headbanger Triple India Pale Ale, and it is a 9.2%.
Holy moly.
Look at the flaming devil horns there. And
Great can.
yeah, super badass. So there's that one. And the other one is from Steamworks Brewing out of Burnaby, and it is an Imperial Breakfast Stout that is a 10.5%. And this one is brewed with waffles, toasted oats, vanilla bean, and maple syrup.
Hold up.
Wow.
Brewed with waffles.
That's what it says.
They make waffles and then chuck it in the brew?
Maybe at the tail end.
It's like Denny's beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Nice.
A nice 10% smack in the mouth.
Woo! Double whammy today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like breakfast in a can right there.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent.
Fired up.
And sorry, Strathcona Brewing, where is that out of?
I think that's Vancouver. Strathcona is, Vancouver.
Cool. Yeah, they got
East Hastings Street. So,
got lots down there.
yeah, let's do that one.
Dane?
All right. I'll follow you up here with another Vancouver brew. This is Container Brewing. Sound familiar? Did one of you guys have Container at some point in time?
I think so. Yeah, it rings a bell.
Okay. So I've been looking for like a real nice Belgian style beer, and I haven't really found one. Like a lot of breweries here will do like a Belgian style, and it's just not what I feel is a Belgian tasting beer. But Container does a Dubel, a Triple, and a Quadruple. Ooh. Which I had last night, and holy schmoly. But this is called a duo. So this is just a nice double, 6.6%. So I've even got my tulip glass here.
Oh, yeah.
Beauty.
So I'm ready to rock. Oops. with some
Spill it
Belgian
now.
style beer.
Don't spill it now.
Village.
Next one up is Red Truck, another Vancouver brewery,
Yep.
and this Golden Hour Cranberry Ale is delicious.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. What's that can look like?
It's so good.
I've seen the can. I haven't tried one yet.
Yeah. I was a bit hesitant because I was like, I don't know, cranberries. I don't like. I immediately I thought, is this going to be like a sour? Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm just like not a big sort of big fruity flavor in my beer kind of guy, but it's super subtle. It's really nice, and it's just, excuse me, like a really easy drinking beer. Super nice.
Yeah, Red Truck's been it's pretty good. It's solid.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They seem to be killing it these days. I see them everywhere. I don't know about you guys,
Yeah,
but
lots.
they're
Lots of
everywhere.
product
Yeah.
lately. Yep.
yeah. And then I've got my Yellow Dog Squirrel Chaser. It's a hazy pale ale. This is a 5.2%. And yeah, Yellow Dog's out of Victoria, right? No, Port Moody. I should know that by now.
Yeah. And
soon to be
and
Penticton.
opening in Penticton.
What's that? They're moving?
Yeah, well, they're taking over Bad Tattoo apparently.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
All the stuff in the chat. Okay,
Yeah,
I gotcha.
so Bad Tattoo shutting her down, and yeah, the Yellow Dog is just moving in and took over, and yeah. So
is that going to
kinda-
be like an additional brew site for them, or is this like they're moving?
I don't know the details. It sounds like it's going to be 2 locations,
Right.
so it's just a proper expansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's kind of shitty to see Bad Tattoo go, but
Yeah, there's still
they're being
cans in the
replaced
store.
by
I saw some
someone good.
today,
yeah,
but yeah, probably not for much longer.
no.
Speaking of not much longer, let's yeah, there's the nice segue. Let's talk about Milli Vanilli, shall we?
Let's do that.
Dane, this is your topic suggestion, so can you tell us why? Because it's a good one.
It's probably because the last podcast I was 4 beers in, and
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
seemed like a good idea at the time. But also, I think it's super interesting because you know, as far as like backing tracks or backing vocals, I think a lot of live acts these days are not 100% singing on their own.
Yep.
There's a lot of sort of mixing in and you know, a lot of trickery to make sure everyone sounds super perfect. So I thought it's interesting how, I mean, these guys really took a beating. I mean, we'll probably get into the dark and dirty details, but
Yep.
essentially I was kind of thinking like, you know, they weren't doing anything that much worse than what's happening to, or what a lot of recording acts are doing today live. So I thought it'd be interesting to just kind of dig into it, see like who got that Milli Vanilli money, man? Like what happened?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And did you know that they're going to make they're making a biopic on this? Did you?
no.
Yeah, like I found that out after the fact. It's kind of funny. Like we kind of talk about these things and all of a sudden they become big.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome, world.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, a very interesting kind of dive on this because I always, you know, there's a lot of different layers to it, but I always wondered like how everybody was hushed. Like what was the contract? Like what did they all agree to be like, we're going to keep this on the down low for 2.5 years until it all blows up, right? And, you know, yeah, you listen to those interviews and you listen to the music and, you know, they don't match at all, right?
Well, you got the
they
whole
don't
German
match.
and
Yeah,
French
like they
thing.
could barely speak English. They could barely
Yeah.
pronounce the English language, right? And listening to them sing even at that like press conference at the end when they got busted, it's just
so bad.
so sad to listen to
Yeah.
and watch,
Totally.
you know? And
Totally.
I feel bad for them. You know, I feel just. I don't know the whole story even after digging into it, because I don't know about you, but I found a lot of dead ends on it. There was some yeah, like
yes, and I want to get into that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, because there was a bunch of them.
So I remember like there was like a behind the music that came out a long time ago. I don't think I even saw it. I just remember being curious one night and Googling like whatever happened to Milli Vanilli. And there was the unfortunate, guess it was Rob. Sorry, it was, let me get his full name. Rob Pilatus, who committed suicide, and it was just something that he took very badly. But when you look at interviews with Fab Morvan, the surviving member, it seems as though he's not that, like, he's not 100% accepting the fact that they did something wrong. Let's put it that way.
Right.
He's just like, well, you know, they told us we were going to sing and we didn't, but still, you know, we were singing before, what's his name? Frank Farian found us, and he knew that we could sing, but he never like let us do it, but we wanted to do it. And he just doesn't seem that remorseful.
It wasn't our fault, man.
Yeah, it's kind of that. It wasn't our fault, dude. But and he gets certain details wrong. Like there's the example where they get the skipping CD at the music.
Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's
right.
Yep.
And Rob runs off the stage, and you can see he's visibly upset.
Yeah.
But I saw an interview with Fab, and he's like, "Oh, you know, it wasn't so bad because like we normally skip our songs and do different remixes, and it was no problem."
I'm a DJ and I do all these things, and
but it looked like a big problem. And Rob ran off the stage. I saw another interview, and he was like, "It was in front of 80,000 people, and I was ready to quit right then and there." So it's different accounts, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. There's that side of it, and then there's the side of just all of the people that were involved with all of this too, right? Like with the singers, this Brad Howell, John Davis, all the like backup singers, the female voices that are in there, right? And I read that it was just like set up so that it was like, you know, Charles Shaw rapping with these two dudes doing the singing, and then they blend it all together in the chorus, so you can't really tell who's really singing or who's really doing anything, right? It's just so layered that you're just like, I can't really tell who's really singing at all.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, anyways, and going down with that too with Charles Shaw, because first of all, I love that interview with him and that CNN thing, because he was like a Chappelle character in that. It was just fantastic. Like, do you think that Milli Vanilli are good singers? Well, no, I don't think they are.
To be honest, no.
You know, when he gets paid allegedly $150,000, hush money to redact his statement saying that he was a singer on Milli Vanilli, and then when I watched that interview, he says, "No, I redacted my statement that I was singing, but I actually was rapping on that."
Yeah. There's a difference.
It's a difference. So you know, and then it's just like, I don't know how some of them, I read they had to sign a confidentiality agreement that they weren't going to say anything, and you know, just all this fishy business. But that. Frank Farian guy, that guy's done it before too. Like he's the guy who put Boney M together.
Yep.
Okay.
And then he, like the lead singer of Boney M, goes in there, lays down the vocals, and then finds out later that his voice has been replaced by Frank Farian, who has put it over top.
Okay.
So this was a whole nother lawsuit that happened like before this like Milli Vanilli thing even happened. So this guy's been like, this is not his first rodeo, right? Like he's done this before.
Right.
So
Right.
Anyways, it was just a bunch of dead ends, and like I don't know where this contract went or what you made or who made what. Like, I think Frank Farian made a ton of cash and like rode off in the sunset. I think that's what happened.
Everybody did.
So
and
did Brad and John, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Charles.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think he got paid much. I think like there's a lot of rapping on that. Like, and if you play all you play all like their hits like kind of in a row, it's the same like rap. It's just like the it's the same stuff all the time, right? So, anyways, I don't think he got paid much there.
Very, very Mike Patton, Faith No More, or kind of rapping.
Yeah, it's the same pattern over and over again on those three songs. But
I think this whole story, it's I don't think it's something that looks bad on the two individuals of Milli Vanilli, but it comes down to the music industry in general, where it's been happening for ever. When you go back to the 50s and you look at Elvis, or you look at any big hit, where it started off with Elvis and the whole Motown scene, where these people, they sang, but they didn't write the songs. Or they had musicians that did everything. They wrote the songs, and then they had brought in someone to sing. So it was, the same group of 5 or 8 people doing the music on everyone's albums and not getting, the credit for it. I mean, getting paid like mad, but not getting the credit for it. And then you go further along, and when you get into the MTV age, when it's all comes down to all style and no substance, where they're packaging an image. What can they sell the image wise? And who's actually saying, we don't care, because here's these songs that one person wrote, and do a little dance and sell 8 million records, and then we'll carry on to the next person. And it's still happening today.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's really funny because when you listen to it, they're not like the people who were singing, I guess Brad and John, they're not excellent singers. It wasn't, I mean, if anything, Frank Farian maybe had a bit of a God complex, like switching people out, but like the production's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of money behind it. And when the record labels are denying things and going completely silent, like, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, of course you knew, because probably 90% of your roster on your label is doing the same damn thing.
Okay, so then I guess people were duped, right? I mean, they won Grammys and people just won everything. It was like the perfect storm. Like what they wanted actually happened, and then they had to deal with it. And I suppose the public was duped. I remember when like you could trade your tape back in and get your money back.
Like delete their entire their record from the catalog, like from the Arista catalog. Like that's major. Like you can't find that album on Spotify. Like that, it's not there, right? And I had that tape. Like that tape was in our house. Like I remember what it looked like. But just like it feels like they kind of got. Did they not have this is what I was thinking too. Did they not have the technology to be able to take these guys' voices at the time and make it sound good? Even if it was them, you know what I mean? Like, couldn't they have just like...
Not really, no.
Did you see the 1992 press release when they're trying to sing Girl, You Know?
Awful.
It's actually...
Awful.
That's worth price of admission alone.
Oh,
right,
it's great.
It's awesome.
So bad.
Yeah, and then the album that came out, the subsequent album that came out with them singing, it's terrible.
Well, and he's still doing it. Fab is still doing it. I looked at, he's doing a true Milli Vanilli experience. Face meets voice. That's what it's called. And he is singing with Brad Howell. He is singing with the other guy. And like it was at this 2020 festival, like somewhere in Europe, and there he's doing "Girl, You Know It's True," and then he lets him do the singing part, and Fab's doing the rap, and he's still doing like trying to do his moves, and it's just like it's really tired.
Yep.
But okay, so sorry, just to circle back, and I was watching a video this morning of like Chris Isaak and Cameron Diaz presenting something for the MTV Music Awards.
Yep.
And Chris Isaak is just like sexually assaulting her on stage. It's terrible. Mm-hmm. People are clapping and laughing. She's literally pushing him away as he's grabbing her wrists and trying to kiss her.
Yep.
And then Jim Carrey walks up on stage and tries to make out with him and like, you know, kind of like cools the situation a bit. But like, back then, it seems so weird what people were accepting and not accepting.
Yeah.
Because Milli Vanilli, okay, people were duped, but it's still entertaining. It's still super fun.
Yep.
Like, I mean, was there any way that they could have salvaged that act and just been like, yo, listen, we're going to add a couple more singers to the mix, but you still get to see these guys dance around in their spandex. We're going to have a great time to sell even more records. And but that didn't happen. It was like, cancel them now, get them out.
Yeah.
So it's different. And would that have, you know, survived today if that same situation happened today?
No, I don't think. No, I don't think anybody would have cared. I think it would just be like, you know, everybody's doing it now. Everybody knows that they're doing it now, right? Like, it's no surprise.
You look at these metal bands that have to cancel their show because they're having computer glitches for their backing tracks. It's like huge bands having these issues. It's like, can you not just play some of it? Sure, it's not going to sound. Sure, it's not going to sound as full as you would hope. And I do think that there is a place now for backing tracks with certain genres of hard rock and metal where there's so much going on in the background and so many layers. You kind of have to fill it in.
Yeah, but with the legacy stuff too. I mean, shit, how do you... Yeah.
But, and then you look back at the albums too where the recording industry is so reliant on studio musicians where you can be in a band, there's 4 guys in the band, and you go in to record your own parts, and they decide, okay, well, you didn't get it in 2 takes or 3 takes. We're getting a session guy in here to record because you couldn't, because it costs so X amount of money to record an album. So why would a recording label and studio spend all that time and money for you to get your drum part or you to get your guitar part perfect when we can just get a session person in, do it now, out. Sure, you can perform it live, that's fine, but you don't play on the album. And there's so many bands that people don't know the artists don't play on their own albums.
Right. Yeah.
Like at all. You look at cats like Phil X on guitar that sits in with everyone from metal to pop to whomever. You look at John 5. You look at these professional session players that go in and they're paid to do these parts, and then it goes out into the wild and everybody listens to it and they don't know who's on there.
I think the biggest thing, I guess, and it was like the kid sitting at the table, like starting the lawsuit with his mom sitting there in like 1990, right? And like all the microphones around the kid, and he was just like, you know, he was my hero. Like, these guys are my heroes, and like I can't believe that they, you know, did this to me, like that kind of thing, right?
Mom's like, they lied to us.
Yeah, they lied to us.
My money
right?
back.
And like that was the thing, right? Like, because everybody's like, well, how come they can't just give the Grammy to the 2 dudes, right? And they're like, well, they didn't put their name on the album. And that was the whole thing, right? Is that their name wasn't on there, and that's why everybody felt like they got,
And then why didn't they give it to Tone Loc?
Why didn't I? Tone Loc knew about it, man. He knew about it.
Right there.
You know, he was on tour with.
Really?
Well, yeah. He said he was on. They were doing a thing with Paul Abdul and Milli Vanilli and Tone Loc, and he's like, I knew those cats back then. You know, he's like, I kind of blew the whistle then, but he's like, I didn't care. I didn't care.
You couldn't speak a word of English, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it was like the Indigo Girls and Tone Loc that were up against Milli Vanilli
Yep.
for whatever category they won at. That's another joke,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yeah.
best new artist or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Best new pop artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But it's interesting. So you can see how, I mean, how sort of rooted the business is, I mean, in the recording, whatever industry. It's not about the experience. It's not about bringing a completely entertaining act for people to enjoy.
Right.
It's about whose name is on the album,
Yep.
who's going to get paid. If
Exactly.
there's so much of a problem that we can't get another album, make another however many millions of dollars, just like forget about it.
Yeah,
Right?
It's fast cash, man. And
Yeah.
nowadays, when it costs X amount of money to make an album, but the record labels aren't selling albums, they're not selling CDs, they're not selling these giant cash cows. So they're like, but before you used to be able to, they used to groom artists. So you would sign them to a 5 or 7 album deal, and sure, the first 2 probably won't be that good, and then but you let them grow and you let them develop, and then eventually you make your money back. And now
they
it's
couldn't.
they sign you to a it's a forced 3 album deal, but they can drop you at any time they want.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you don't make it within the first, if you're not getting them their money back and then some, you're gone, and let's get someone else in here.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
it's got to be one of the like fastest rises and falls, though. Like
Totally.
in
Totally.
music
That's what
history,
makes
right?
it such an amazing story.
Yeah, because like I remember as a kid them just getting massive and it going on for a while too, right? And like even when you go back and you're like, I know this song. Like even those other ones that I didn't know, like, I'm gonna miss you. I forgot about that one, and I forgot about the all or nothing. It's got to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of them are pure dog shit, though. I
Oh,
mean, some of them
garbage.
are just. I mean, maybe they're super dated.
Yeah.
But holy cow, I was dancing within 5 minutes of. I don't
Yep.
know what the first one I put on was probably like "Blame It on the Rain."
Yeah.
And I'm doing the Running Man. I'm just like this is so good.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys hear the original "Girl You Know It's True"? Did you hear?
No, I heard that it was a cover.
Oh my goodness! A cover,
really?
like a straight rip off. Like
cover.
it is. It came out in 1987.
So a year before.
Yeah,
Whoa.
by a band from the States, from Maryland, called Newmarks. And I listened. I didn't know this, so I put it on. It's not on Spotify, but it's on YouTube, and it sounds exactly the same, like exactly the same. So, and that was
And they didn't get credited.
yeah, it's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a
Wow.
copy.
This, I love it.
Right?
I love it.
And so this Frank Farian brings it to Charles Shaw and says, "Hey, like I heard this song, or no, he said I want to do this song." And Charles Shaw says, "That song ain't new." Right?
Yeah.
Like so he heard it in the club in Germany and he's like, "I'm going to make this bigger and better." And then just like took that song and completely ripped the whole thing off. I don't know what like Newmark's got any like cash for this because that song was massive. So like, where's their
Totally.
piece of the pie? But if
Right?
you, have you
Where's
ever
the
listened
Milli
to
Vanilli
it,
money?
oh yeah, where is it?
Where-
It's buried, man. It's like with the Nazi gold somewhere, you know,
And the Ark.
and the Ark, you know, like
Right?
I don't know where it all went, but there was lots of it, and they were like planning a world tour when this all like went down too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
crazy.
It just makes me think like how many other bands are currently doing this right now. How many bands that I like and respect and listen to are just it's not them.
Nope.
Like you were saying, T, like, there's a thing with the session players and things like that, but I wonder if there's like, artists who are, it's their music. They're known to write their music, perform their own music, but
Yep.
I'm thinking Billy Corgan.
Yeah.
for sure.
It's all. That's not his voice. I'm joking. It's a terrible voice. It's totally his voice.
Totally.
Yeah, no, like and just ones that like can't quite hack it, right? So
Yep.
you
Yeah.
just get those guys to come in like for those parts, right? And what you don't don't hurt you, right? Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, it's a different time right now. Like that stuff doesn't even really matter, right? Like, I mean, there's certain artists that can just get away with it. I mean, even back then too. I mean, Hendrix wasn't much of a singer. He was a performer and hell of a guitar player, but not much of a singer.
But it fit the music, and he
It
did
did.
it, and
Yeah.
he wrote the lyrics, and he did, he did the work. It wasn't, he didn't come in there and auto tune. He didn't auto tune and then carry on and lip sync on stage while he slayed on guitar. He did
Yeah.
it.
But you think about this as a straight dance group too, right? I mean, you think about the dance groups in the 90s and the 2000s, they're all lip syncing because they're dancing, right?
Not Marky Mark.
Oh, right, sorry. He's doing
Not Marky Mark.
he's lifting weights and
Feel the vibrations.
He did it all.
feel it.
Come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a good point. I think they could have made it work because here's a good example: The Prodigy. I mean, what's his face? Phil, who was the fire starter guy? Keith Flint. Keith Flint.
Keith Flint. Yep.
He didn't really do much. If you actually listen to a couple of albums, he's in 1-2 songs per album. Rest of the time, he's dancing on stage.
Yep.
And there was a lot of other people in that group collective. They were just kind of dancers. They added to the experience, and that's absolutely fine.
Yep.
So it's just,
But they did it, and they did the work, and they recorded it, and they wrote it, even if it was small parts, and even if he was, even if he's just like a call man in the back, like you look at the rap, a lot of rap groups like Cypress Hill, where it's just the background fill here and there. It's kind of what he did.
Yeah.
He added this extra layer, but it was so original that it stood out.
Yeah, totally. I guess it boils down to people don't like being duped. People do not like being duped.
Well, they used to not like it. Now it's just so accepted that it's so accepted, man. And music these days it's just so throwaway when it's free.
Yeah.
And when people are writing songs now, you have to catch someone within the first 4 seconds. So you have to start with the chorus, or you have to start with the. That's how you have to write a song, because if you don't get past the first 30 seconds, you don't get paid.
Hey, you know what you got to put in the
get that
first 30 seconds?
0.0004.
An entire audio script. That's like on every single Milli Vanilli song, right? Like, girl, you really mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
I mean a lot to me. Girl, you know it's true.
Go.
Yeah, that's catches you right off the bat, but you got to have some of that in there in every single song.
Oh yeah, it's great. And I watched those clips, those interviews that you guys sent me, and one of them was talking about how it wasn't like they were still sort of bringing rap to the forefront of popular culture.
It's very new, yeah.
And this was like a really great sort of bridge. It was R&B, rap. It was just like it was enough for anyone to enjoy it.
Yep.
And kind of helped in the transition of rap becoming mainstream, I think.
Totally.
It was one of the first rap R&B albums I ever owned as a kid.
You look at them and like CNC Music Factory and like groups like this that were doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all part of that kind of like safe rap, like family rap back then too, right? Like the Fresh Prince rap, like
Fresh
the
Prince,
MC Hammer rap, like that kind of stuff, right? Like, it was all in that same vein.
It was no Naughty by Nature.
Yeah, no, Naughty by Nature. Yeah.
Oh, Naughty by Nature is so good.
So good. It's brilliant.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's an interesting one too, because I think for what it's worth, it's stood the test of time, and like for whatever reason, like I thought about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it, but I mean the music is still good.
It's catchy, man. It was in our house.
Well-written
Like,
songs.
Put it on.
we were singing it just like it wasn't even on, and it was just like you just come up with random lines from it, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
it just come into it. But so I mean, it's catchy. Whatever the guy did, he put it together. Like you said, it was like the beginning of the episode. It was produced very well because like when you actually listen to it on headphones and I listen to it in the truck, it's like it sounds pretty good. Like sonically, it sounds good. You know, like. But it's just catchy. It gets you right off the bat, you know. And it's a lot of like it's just the keyboard. It's the keyboard like hits, right? It's the keyboard like jabs or whatever they call those, right? Like there's lots of that in there, and it's a main part of the music, along with the simple rap.
Yep.
It just flows. No, good episode. I'm looking forward to this biopic. I will watch that because I did watch that Behind the Music back in the day on it, and it was interesting. But I'm sure there's they're gonna do like a way better version of that now. I'm assuming so.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
Maybe they'll get Machine Gun Kelly in there to play one of them.
Oh my God. All right, we want you guys to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. Keep it going, keep it strong, because we're having a great time entertaining you guys with B-Sides and Beers podcast.